In a world that is robbing dudes of their dudeness, three normal, everyday, middle-aged dudes are taking a stand for dudes everywhere. Join us as we talk about life as a dude in today's world.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Dudefinity podcast, the only podcast dedicated to all things dude. My name is Sterling, and joining me as always, the light of my life, my sun and my stars, my earth, wind, and fire, Jordan.
Well, the way we resolve conflict, it might have been easier to marry you. I'm not really sure after that one. I appreciate that, but and cut the act. Cut the act. We don't need to say good evening and good afternoon when it's 5 o'clock in the morning here.
Well, I just don't. We don't know when someone's watching this, and I want to make sure we're covering all times of the day.
But it's a good morning for us.
It's a good morning for us. Good. How are you doing this fine morning? Early morning.
After once I put this glass down officially, ask me again. But so far, so good. I mean, I'm here. I gotta get a workout in a little bit. I gotta get go to breakfast with my retired guy. You can come over and hit the bench with me anytime, man. Let me know. But no, and then I've got retiree breakfast. And no, folks, I am not retired. I just happen to have
can't wait to
been the first home into a retirement community that wasn't meant to be a retirement community. It just is what it is. All my neighbors are ancient. No, I'm joking. I love every one of you. You guys are great. They're all just retired. But it's really cool, right? Because, one of the things Sterling and I talk about is getting those people in your life that kind of give you a roadmap or, that you can surround yourself with when things go wrong. And, Sterling is my everyday battle buddy, but I also have guys in this neighborhood that I can call on if I need something. And the nice part is that every one of them, like one was an electrician, one was in sales, like software sales, one worked for the power company, we got another one who's in technology, like IT. And so it's just, we've got like all walks of life. We got a cable guy that lives out here, so it's nice to have these guys who just know a little bit about everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's always good to have people in your life that have walked that road before you and maybe can give you an idea of what kind of trials, tribulations, and difficulties you might come across and how they resolved it in their own life. I don't have
you can't be hard-headed not to listen either, and a lot of people won't listen to that type of stuff.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Sometimes it's a hard truth. I don't have a great segue for this, but there was something I wanted to chat about and get your thought. You and I are just on just like a regular call. We were just shooting the shit, and we were talking about, we were talking
Do we
about
even have regular calls anymore, Sterl? I don't even know if you can call them regular anymore. They're mostly just production meetings.
Yeah, we were talking about Greenland. And why Trump wanted Greenland.
Oh my God, we are starting early.
Yeah, but
okay.
Well, it's been on my mind, and I've been thinking about it. So I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck does he want Greenland? What is this all about? Reason. And you said when this all first started that you thought he was trolling, and which I thought was pretty funny. I'm like, yeah, well, I guess keep them on their toes. But I've changed my mind about it because I did agree with you. I'm like, oh, he's just talking. He doesn't really.
Well, go ahead.
I've changed my mind. I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to relate this to.
Sorry, real quick. I just noticed your shirt said Dublin. Is it a Carhartt?
Yes, Carhartt.
Anyway.
So I'm going to relate this to. Like being what you have to do as the head of your household, right? You have to plan ahead for things, and sometimes you're planning ahead for things that may or may not happen. It may not be that the furnace goes out, but you got to have a plan on what you're going to do if the furnace goes out. Like one of the things that I've done in our house is not this winter, but for next winter, I'm gonna get a generator. And, and my girlfriend and I had this conversation. I wanted to make sure that if I wasn't home, it was a generator that she could start herself and we could go over how to use. It wouldn't be a big deal. but I'm planning for an eventuality or a situation that may or may not happen, right? Did you just see
How did
that?
you find a woman in New York City that can start a generator?
Uh,
But we'll
uh,
talk about that later.
Jesus. Uh, so, so I was thinking about it. All right, hear me out. J- China just put an embargo on rare earth minerals to Japan for military use,
Uh-huh.
right? And it got me thinking, it's not that China has a ton of rare earth minerals, they just have all of the manufacturing capacity for it. They have
Right.
all of the facilities to refine them. I think this is Trump planning for a conflict with China where we can't be reliant on them for rare earth minerals. And we use those for, computers and weapons and cars and microwave ovens and all of that good stuff. Just a thought. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
I don't think I
no,
am.
I think you're onto something. I think one when we first started talking about this, and I said he was trolling. Some of it I think is trolling. I think some of it, and it depends on which angle you're looking at it from. One, I think Trump's an antagonist, and he just, quite frankly, likes to fuck with people, and it gets the Europeans talking, and it's fun, and they're like, now all of a sudden they're having meetings on what they do if Trump takes Greenland and all this other stuff, and listen, we are not going to take Greenland by military force. If we do, I'll be the first one to line up behind impeaching Donald Trump because that just seems really stupid. I would actually question his mental faculties if we took Greenland by military force. Now, that's the first thing. The second thing is there is a war that Trump has been trying to stop for a long time. It is not stopping. I think that Putin does not want America, much like what we just did with Maduro and how we don't want Russia and China and some of the stuff in our hemisphere, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tend to think that Putin might not want us on his back door. And so Trump saying this loud and proud everywhere, it does give us a direct shot to Russia. It does give us a defense line to Russia in another way. I know Alaska's close to Russia too, but we've got base there. We've got
Mm-hmm.
defenses there. I think Greenland's about standing up a wall. I also think it's about putting pressure on Putin to end a war because, quite frankly, we could reach out and touch you pretty easy from Greenland. There's that, but then there's another thing. There's the China thing. I think that there's some things going on there for sure with the rare minerals. I think you could be onto something, but the other thing that I'm seeing is there's so much being said about how China's talking about being an Arctic state, all the people looking at the Arctic and everything
Mm-hmm.
else, and the shipping routes. Well, guess what Greenland does? Gives you direct access to see what the hell is going on in the Arctic. Pretty
Yeah,
easy,
that's true. That's
and
true.
so I just think it's a multifaceted thing. Plus, also, I don't think Trump like they're our allies. They could be whatever they are. I don't think Trump truly trusts anybody outside of America. And
Well,
it's part of an American first
yeah,
policy. I think he has trust for people, but he doesn't trust them explicitly, if that makes sense.
it
And
does. Yeah.
and I think he goes into it guarded. And so I think part of this too is just quite frankly, like we don't want to be reliant on anybody. As part of, our energy has gone back up. You're talking about the rare minerals that we get. Honestly, we're what? Like, I forget how much, can't even count anymore, how much of our debt China holds, and the deals we have and everything else. But we already had phase one of the renegotiation between Xi and Trump on what trade looks like. There's a secondary, ongoing conversation that has to happen still.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of this is Trump setting up to show Xi, listen, we don't need you, buddy. We can move on. You either come down to our level and play on our field and accept our tariffs and you go this way,
Mm-hmm.
or guess what? We don't need you.
Yeah.
We're just gonna cut you off. We don't need you. Like
Well, it's a lesson we should have learned in COVID.
mhm.
There's certain things that
When we didn't
should
have our
be.
own toilet paper supplies here in America, man. I cannot wait. I don't know about you, but I cannot wait until one day when I'm like 75 and I'm a granddad. And if I'm fortunate enough to live that long, and I'm sitting there talking to my grandyoungins. Yes, I said grandyoungins. I live in the South. My grandkids. Um, but I'm sitting there talking to them, and I'm like, let me tell y'all a story about the great toilet paper shortage of 2020 and how one man came and changed the landscape so that we would never be without toilet paper again.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it's basically a story, dude. I mean,
it,
it's
you
there
want to
wasn't
talk?
toilet paper in a country that is full of people who in toilets and need paper. It's not
What?
like we wipe with hands and
But
banana leaves and anything we can find. We make toilet paper every day, and we use toilet paper
the
every day.
the problem was that people were like, all right, going down. Hear me out. Water? Nah, no, we don't need that. Stock up on
Nope.
food? No, we'll be fine. Paper.
Shit tickets all
Shit,
day long.
paper. That's what we need. That's the ticket.
You know what's funny is so down here in the South, hurricane comes, right? And I grew up where you grew up, Northeast. Okay. Blizzards came when we were kids, and we'd get 1.5 feet, 2 feet of snow and get dumped on. Don't get it like that anymore, but we used to get it quite frequently when we were kids, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I don't ever remember my mom or your mom going, I need to go buy all the milk, bread, and tickets to get through this. Like, it never
No.
happened. Was not a thing. And then as an adult, I started preparing for hurricanes with my wife, right? Like, and everybody's running to the store, bread, milk, eggs, like getting all that stuff. And everybody's always like, oh, all that stuff might be gone. I'm like, I ain't going for that stuff. I just need beer.
It's only one thing I need.
I need beer to survive this. This is it. Like, I don't need your bread. I don't need your milk. Like, we're gonna do some day drinking.
So let me ask you this. With another, well, I guess it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. With another thing that Trump has done is
It's been a busy week, dude.
lower in fuel costs.
Oh, 100%. Well, it
lower
also
fuel
helps when you
costs.
take 30 to 50 billion or million barrels of oil from Venezuela too. That's
Well,
gonna help.
it's
Going right. We're selling it and then
Oh,
giving
yeah.
half. We're giving like 30% or 40%, I think, back to the Venezuelan people, which is the right thing to do.
So here's my thing. You know this, but I haven't said it on the podcast. I have a pet peeve when it comes to cars.
I didn't know you were passionate about cars, man. Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Couldn't tell by the GTR and the GTR service manual and the little car up there at the top.
Yeah,
Or the skyline in your garage that still
Right.
isn't complete 4 years later.
No, it hasn't been 4 years, but
It's been a little while.
it's taking a little longer than I thought it would. It's fine. Don't worry about it. As long as it's there, I'll always have a project. So I have a pet peeve with cars, and my pet peeve is electric cars. You want to talk about
loaded this morning for bear.
loaded.
Right.
All right, so hear me out. So
yes, we have a war on electric cars in our head, folks. They suck. That's my
they're
opinion
just
of them,
they don't make any sense. Like everybody wanted a Tesla because I can be environmental. No, it was like a Birkin bag. It had nothing to do with environmentalism.
No, nothing.
It had everything to do with it being a fad. And it's not that Teslas aren't for what they are, kind of neat. They're neat. They're like,
it's kind of fun to go to 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, or
but
go from 60 to 0 in 2 seconds because the car brakes really fast. Trust me, I know.
It's just that they don't have, one, they don't have any soul. Two, they're an appliance. It's like getting a really nice refrigerator. It doesn't stir your emotions. It's a thing that does that one job. It does it really well, but they're not particularly well built. And now you've got all these other manufacturers who had to, because of Biden's policies, had to jump on this electric bandwagon.
Well, that we weren't even set up for.
We're not set. We don't have the
infrastructure
for
is not there.
It's not there.
His own transportation secretary proved it when she drove cross country and had to send people in a gas-fueled car to reserve spots for her at the charging stations.
But it's more than that. The electrical grids, the electrical grid's not set up for it. You have to strip mine to get the rare earth minerals that you need to make these batteries. All the batteries are made in China. They have to be shipped all over the world because all the manufacturing infrastructure is friggin' spread across the globe, and that means you're putting them on a container ship. And that is just spewing back black smoke across the world. And are they neat? Sure, I get it. It's like getting an iPhone. I get it. It's fine. But the idea that you are being environmentally friendly by buying one of these things is not true. And then that doesn't even get into the residual value. They can't give these things away.
No.
Like a battery dies, it's like your phone. Battery
Yep.
dies in your phone. Let's
Car's
be
a
honest.
brick. The
It's a
car's a brick.
You're
Yeah.
tossing the thing, you're buying a new phone. You're not taking it down to that Arab guy at the kiosk in the mall and having him
No.
fix it. No, you're tossing that. And it's the same thing with the cars. And it's something that they don't talk about. They're like, oh, you got to be environmentally friendly. Oh, look how nice it is. It's going to be so good. It drives itself just along. It's great. Except they don't tell you that 3 years down the road, it's going to lose 80% of its value. You won't be able to give the thing away. And on top of that,
You basically got a tin can on wheels that doesn't run.
100%. But yeah, no, let's go electric. God bless Trump with it for that, man. I'm so glad about that.
I know when you and I talk about cars, a lot of times I don't have a lot of stances on this or a
Mhm.
lot of opinions one way or the other, except for electric cars. You
Yep.
and I are 100% in agreement with that. But mine's more of just how stupid is it to think that it's better for the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say a couple of things, and I'm just kind of curious your opinion on them. One, so I have a new Explorer, newer Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
That thing, every time it goes into the shop for an oil change, which I have to get a lot of them because I put a lot of miles on my vehicle. About every 6 weeks, I get an oil change. Okay. About every 6 weeks, Ford has to do a computer upgrade to my car while it is there getting said oil change and tire rotation. It annoys the piss out of me. I get these recall notices where I got to go in and they do a software upgrade.
update. Yeah.
I just can't imagine going from the semi-electric vehicle that I have, because there's a lot of electrical components that run my
Mhm.
vehicle. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
But my car is not ran on electricity. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's ran on gas power. But those electric components that I have to, like the computer and stuff like that I have to constantly get these upgrades on, and these recall like software glitch fixes and stuff like that. Can you imagine if your car was fully electric? I would imagine you would never, ever, ever leave the damn dealership.
So in the defense of Tesla, you basically set your car up to run off your Wi-Fi, and they do over-the-air software updates.
No, Tesla's different, but like Rivian and like some of these other and some of these other places, I don't know. I just feel like we're not driving cars, we're driving computers, and computers lag, dude.
My last truck would do that. I programmed it to the Wi-Fi to the house, and it would do over-air software updates. But I agree with you that there is maybe too much going on.
Yeah.
And but here's a good point. Trump comes into office, right? Trump comes into office and he lowers gas prices. He starts reducing cafe taxes. He reduces what you need for your fleet as far as average fuel economy. Gets rid of all that, right? You know what happens? Dodge goes, well, we were going to get rid of the Hemi, but we're going to keep that.
Yeah, I saw
Toyota's like V8s again. You know what?
Yep.
You know what? We say MAGA. I say MACA. Make automobiles cool again.
All right. So my next question on your MACA, on your MACA statement, my next statement on electric vehicles, and I'm just kind of curious your thoughts on this. I feel like when obviously the Biden administration was way off base with their electric vehicle mandate and everything they tried to do. Okay. Way off base. Doesn't even make sense. Okay. But if you told people, here's this Tesla, it's $100,000, it goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and you marketed it as kind of a cool thing and not like the mandatory electric vehicle type thing. Like, I just think that I think electric vehicles should have been sold as a cool alternative, but not,
well, they were.
Like a sexy thing. Like, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but like the sexy thing, like the sexy sports car, but like, here's this electric vehicle. Look how cool it is. It does all these things.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're just not that cool.
No, they're not.
They're just
They-
not that cool. Like, they can't even market them that way because they're not cool. The coolest thing they do is drive themselves. And I don't know if you've ever been in a Tesla that drives itself, but when it gets off the interstate after going 75 miles an hour and you come off the off-ramp, guess what? About 30 feet before the stop sign, you're still doing 70 miles an hour. You're on a roller coaster that crashes into a stop sign. And it's just like, what the hell, man? You feel like you're going way out in the middle of the road. Like, trust me, I've tried this. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about Tesla. Okay? No lie here. I can break in and steal your Tesla in about 2 minutes. I don't care which one it is. I don't care where it is. I can do it. And I'm going to show you how. You ready for this?
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you how you get in. That's the number one thing. Okay. So once the Tesla is locked, you approach it with your phone and it unlocks, right? Like your phone's your
Sure.
key, like all
Yep.
that. Well, if a Tesla, what happens if you charge your Tesla and then the thing won't come out of the charging port? And you can't get in the car, and it's just a complete brick. It's the brick you're talking about. On the front grille, there's a little panel.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of that panel is an auxiliary battery. And all you do is you take a little jumper, just a small battery jumper.
Hold up. We probably shouldn't be telling people how to break into Teslas.
I think it's great. The Kia boys did wonderful. I'm pointing out how unsecure they are.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
you're
no,
not
more
wrong.
so than anything, I'm just saying, like, I can literally take a battery. It'll unlock. Doesn't unlock the door, but it awakens the car. And then underneath, what do they call it? Where the windshield wipers are, the plastic, the cowl.
Cowling. Yeah.
Yeah, underneath the cowling, there's another battery. You hit that battery, it pops the trunk and unlocks the car. You can get in anything you want in that car just by popping a couple of batteries that you have access to. There's no panels to prevent you from getting them. You could steal that car if you wanted to. I could take anything that you had in your car out of your car without you ever knowing, and you thinking it's the safest thing on earth. So, Tesla, Elon's an eccentric guy, really cool guy, very smart, kind of like Elon, he does huge things, Trump really
Huge.
Trump really, and him don't hate each other at all. Like, you could see it. There's, but the electric vehicle mandate was a big thing. But, I think they had to have a public falling out to bring the stocks back of Tesla. I think that was one of the things that was about because they're smart. But here's the other thing. SpaceX is in charge of getting us to the moon again. So, do you really think that the U.S. government didn't say, hey, guess what? We're going to crush your EV mandate. You can still sell them, but we'll give you this much money over here to build rocket ships.
It's why is the government subsidizing that? Again, capitalism. Let the free market decide. The free market wants it. Yeah, well, and that's
you could buy cars for a lot of people, like $10,000 used cars for a ton of people with some of these subsidies they have out there. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Well, yes. You want to talk about stupid subsidies? Thank God this is gone. These wind farms, solar farms. Where I live,
where they think that power is like, and that is the cleanest way. Do you know how much power coal energy is expounded to make or to piece together and deliver and put up a wind tunnel or a wind turbine? Just one. It's insane. Well, you will actually use more coal energy than that thing will ever give you energy back.
It's like, okay, if you want to put up solar panels in Arizona, sure, makes sense.
Fine.
Real sunny place.
The desert, middle of nowhere.
Makes sense. If you want to put up solar panels in a place that is dark 6 months out of the year, why? Why are you doing that? Moreover, solar panels, like 90% of them are made in China. But that's the point. It's if it wasn't for a government subsidy, nobody would be doing it. It doesn't solve anybody any problems.
Well, here's the other thing.
Stupid.
Well, so solar panels, since we're gonna open up that can of worms, I just think hear me out on this, follow me through this for a second, okay? I think it's a little ironic and kind of dumb that people go, oh, global warming. The Earth's temperature, surface temperature has increased. Do you know that in the last 15 years, the Earth's surface temperature has increased? I think it was like 2.5 degrees or 3.5 or 3 degrees, something like that as a average. You know where it increased the most? Where there's solar panels. I don't know if you ever heard this, but you cannot go on a rooftop with
The solar
solar panels
panels.
without
That
wearing protective gear. So you mean to tell me like these massive solar fields aren't having a direct impact on increasing the Earth's the surface temperature? Like, come on, man. Like, is it really global warming or is it manufactured global warming? I personally think the Earth is a sustainable thing that fixes and evolves and creates and if it wants to wipe us out tomorrow, it'll wipe us out and it'll be here still. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, dude, like, they talk about ice age and everything else. Look what we have now. Does it look like we're still in an ice age? No. Like, I'm just saying, like, I think that this global warming stuff is just it's for the birds, man.
I think that there's definitely something to it, but I think the real question is whether or not people are the ones affecting it. The the sun burns hotter at times. We get more solar radiation, which increases the temperature of the planet. There's all of these other factors. So just to go, well, it's 100% people isn't
No.
necessarily,
Right.
you know,
Right. And I get it, man. Like, we need to save our environment. Don't get me wrong. And we need to take care of it. And we need to do the right things by it. But I mean, come on, man. Like, if the earth wasn't sustainable, why can I cut down 30 trees and plant a farm tomorrow in the same spot that'll grow 30 more or 60 more trees in
mm,
20 years?
right.
You know what I mean? So I tend to not buy into that. I think a lot of this right now is just and good on her, like Greta Thunberg, like, her whole like mindset and everything she tries to do. But at the end of the day, even she's admitted that like solar panels have increased the surface temperature in some areas. One of the coolest things I ever saw, and I think it was like Denmark or Norway, and it just never really picked up. And I thought it was awesome, especially in winter, is have you ever seen the honeycomb solar panel roads that one town did? So they're these solar panels, and they're probably like 4 or 5 feet each, and they're shaped like a honeycomb, pretty much, like an
Hmm.
octagon or hexagon or whatever. But they're solar panels, and it prevents ice from being able to form on the roads. They were actually the whole
That's a
town
kind of an idea.
actually, yeah, it actually like they build their roads out of it. Now I'd be curious to know what happened over time. Like, could you walk down the street without getting third-degree burns? I don't know. Do you need protective gear? Are you getting radiation like you live at Chernobyl? I mean, I just don't know. But my point is it was a good idea, like, on theory to, like, melt the snow and ice, but everything else. And then they were like, "Oh, and it's so easy because all you do is if one piece breaks, you just kind of pop it
Pop
up,
the new one in it.
put another
Yeah.
one in." And I'm like, "No, very smart, like forward thinking." Except for the fact that people walk down streets, animals
Hmm.
walk on them.
It's just littered with people with dead cats.
They're like
um,
stuck to the.
so speaking of things that are kind of stupid, uh, have you seen this class action lawsuit against McDonald's? Have you seen this?
No, if you tell me it's about a hot cup again, I gotta go.
Mm. No,
Okay.
this is that one wasn't fair. Like that coffee was vastly too hot. Like genuinely, it
Have you been
really
to
was.
McDonald's lately to get a
It's
cup of
insane.
coffee?
No, I
Every
don't
one of
drink
them are
coffee
way
at
too hot,
McDonald's.
dude.
Um,
Every one of them are too hot. I get a cup of coffee from I don't go to McDonald's to get coffee anymore because if you get one, it literally takes an hour with the lid off for it to cool down. I don't know what they do to it. I don't know if it comes out of Satan's asshole or what, but it is
but yeah,
hot.
that's like I said,
And there
you
should be
shouldn't
a
be
label
getting
on it.
if you spill coffee on yourself, you shouldn't get third degree burns.
No.
If I've got a hot pot of coffee upstairs, but if I spilt my pot of coffee, my cup of coffee here on my
By
lap,
the way, that's a very manly color on you, buddy. I
well,
really like it. Looks good in your hands.
10 years of service, buddy. That's what to get you.
I got you.
Yeti. Ooh.
I got a Yeti too, but mine's more of a manly color, but that's okay.
Yep. I hear you. It was free.
You know what's
Okay.
not a manly color because it's that
Hmm.
color in your hand is my front door of my house. Because just so you gentlemen know, if you marry a woman, she will tell you what you like.
So yeah. So this class action lawsuit says that the McRib does not actually contain rib meat.
Rib meat. Did it ever claim to?
Well, the lawsuit states that by saying that that it is a rib and making it the shape of ribs, that a reasonable person could assume that it contains rib meat.
What are the ribs of a baby? I mean, they're the smallest little.
It just contains pork. It's a pork patty in the shape of ribs. Don't be dumb. And if you
Right,
think,
like, who
if you think,
cares?
well, they're like, oh, they advertise it as a premium product. What the? It's McDonald's. There's nothing premium in McDonald's. Shut the up. That's stupid. Like, if you think that the McRib contains rib meat, and you're so upset about it that you need to sue somebody, you should jump off a cliff.
I bet you whoever started that, and I mean no disrespect when I say this, are probably fat as
I do.
fuck.
Jesus. But
They're probably fat. They gotta be
like,
obese
why
if they're
do
worried
you
about
think?
that.
Who would think
Who
that?
has that much time
Yeah. Well,
to think that way?
it's just wild.
Anyway,
I
yeah,
just thought that was
whatever.
a stupid lawsuit.
That is really stupid, dude. That's dumb. So, random question for you. I asked you this the other day. You thought I was joking when I asked. It is kind of funny, so I figured I'd present it here and see what people think. You know, maybe some people will comment and know about it. Okay? You made the comment that our commander-in-chief looks less orange. You suggested
Yep.
it might be because he isn't spending as much time at Mar-a-Lago, as much time playing golf, which both very reasonable things. I just never thought his orange looked like a suntan. I always thought it looked like a. I always looked like it was like. I always thought it was like a spray tan, self tanner, a tanning bed.
Now I've just got this picture of him in a.
Please don't
in a banana hammock.
Put that in my head. Stop. Cucumbers on the eyes, just laying there. Like, all right. Or my theory on it. Remember, did Donald Trump spend the last 80 years of his life just eating way too many Cheetos? Did Cheeto make him orange? Is he the original life version of Chester Cheeto? I don't know. These are things I want to know. The one thing out of everything I want to know about Donald Trump is I want to know why he's orange.
You know, the world may never know.
Oh, God, dude. They're going to do an autopsy. They're going to be like, he died for 500 pounds of Cheeto. You know what Cheeto is, right? You know what Cheeto is. Have you heard that? Oh, dude. So 2 years ago, I think, Cheetos came out with, you know, when you eat Cheetos and you get the little orange stuff on your fingers? They wanted to name that. They didn't want to call it Cheeto dust. It sounded weird. It is actually a name named by Cheetos. It is Cheeto. The dust on your fingers when you eat Cheetos is called Cheeto.
Somebody got paid to do that.
Yes, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. It had a name for it. Well, I'm sitting there licking this off my fingers like everybody else normally does when you eat a bunch of Cheetos. Instead. Okay, shut up. But seriously, you know all that dust you get on your hands, and you put them in, and as you're a kid, you see little kids eat Cheetos. I don't know about your kid,
the
but it's
Cheeto
just
ring,
you know. And so now there's a name for it. It's Cheeto.
Yeah, no, my daughter loves Cheetos and gets the Cheeto ring. It's just
Cheeto ring.
Cheeto ring. Okay.
Thank you.
Good to know.
That really sounds like something we would learn in a sex ed class. Cheeto ring, like Kegel. I don't know. Doesn't it though? It just sounds terrible, man. All right.
Terrible.
So I want to make a stance on something.
All right.
I've been very excited about the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know me well enough to know by now that I've also been cautiously excited about the Patriots.
Which was, I think, reasonable.
You know, hey, one game at a time, something might be brewing. Are we heading in that direction? There's some parallels. We're back, and New England is going to take it to the Chargers. We are going to run the AFC, and when we wind up in the Super Bowl, all you haters.
Bold claim, Cotton. Bold claim.
I'm just telling you. They can hate all the haters gonna hate, man. It's funny. They're talking straight to schedule and all this crap, dude. I'm so sick of it. Guess what? We're gonna shut you up just like Brady did 6 times. Have fun. New England's back. Sorry that your team sucks and can't draft quarterbacks. Also, one thing I wanted to bring up.
They don't win. I'm so splicing this whole thing into an episode.
It would be incredible. It'd be incredible. Dude, I mean, I'm going to stake my claim, though. If they don't win now, they will win. I promise you, they will win. It might not be this year, but they will win.
Yeah, I hope they do. I hope they win this year.
But
I think
here's something interesting. So, the NFL right now, it's about a 30% chance that a top 10 quarterback hits.
Yeah.
Listen to this. So teams try to build through trades, teams try to build through free agency, teams try to do these things. Best quarterbacks in the league right now are top 10 draft picks.
Makes sense.
Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Drake May, Aaron Rodgers. You look across the board and the
Mhm.
players that are there are all so I guess it begs the question for me, why are more teams not sucking like I mean, it seems like watch, rinse, repeat. All the Patriots did was suck for a couple of years, get good draft picks, and then come back and go, hey, we're here.
I think
Why are
part of the
more teams not following the blueprints?
I think it's one of those things that, and we talk about this all the time. While 30% of top 10 draft picks that are quarterbacks pan out, 70% don't, you
Right,
know.
right.
So, and then there's also, like it's tough, especially maybe not so much for other teams. Like, if the Bears suck for a couple of years, no, par for the course. But the Browns are terrible.
That
Nobody's
might be the one thing
surprised.
that nobody cares about the Browns, but the Bears might get us canceled. We might have just gotten a bunch of pitchforks thrown at us from Soldier Field. Yeah, I know, right? At least they're in
But
Chicago.
but it's one of those things. It's like, and this being a Boston sports fan, that you can't be bad for very long.
No.
If you're bad for very long, they will come for you, for your job, for your wife's job, for your
Well,
pets.
especially when anybody can see the talent and everybody can see what's there. Like last year, Drake May, the talent was there and he had a Pro Bowl season. People forget he was a Pro Bowler last year in his rookie year. And then he's gonna be an all NFL first team player this year, probably like an all pro. He's definitely a Pro Bowler. He already made it. Um, and so you see the talent, and then you start to go, man, Gerard Mayo is not a talented coach. Great player. Love the guy. I think he's incredible. If he could come suit up and play linebacker for us again, I'd take him, but I don't think him coaching is a good thing. And then, clearly, so I say that to say there's been an argument for years about Brady or Bill. Was it Brady? Was it Bill? Was it Bill? Was it Brady? Well, guess what? I think it was both of them. I think it was a harmonious relationship until it wasn't. I think, Belichick's personality could wear anybody out after a long time. If that was, I mean, there's a reason he's only been married once. And then his second longest relationship ended, So I'm just saying he wears people out, dude. I mean, he had to go out and find a 24-year-old that could put up with him because she's too dumb to know what a relationship is. You know what I mean?
It's making some bold assumptions about a 24-year-old woman, Jordan. That's
Bro, she's
in
dating
a
a 75-year-old man. I think the assumptions are pretty much proven. They aren't
inappropriate.
assumptions. They are not assumptions at this point. Yes, and she's with him because he's got a great mind. So anyway, moving on. No, it's the mind. It's the mind, buddy. It's the mind. I promise you. She fell in love with Bill Belichick's mind on an airplane ride that took 45 minutes.
So let me
I'm not done. Let me
You're not
finish
done.
this.
You're still going.
No,
I apologize.
So Brady and Bill.
Huh?
Everybody talks Brady. Everybody talks Bill. I don't think it was either one of them. You look right now, what just happened, how quickly they course corrected on the Gerard Mayo thing. I think it's the Crafts. I think the Crafts know how to build a winning organization. They went through it. They paid attention. The blueprint's there. And guess what? They said, nope, this doesn't look right. We're going to go back to the blueprint. They went back to the blueprint. They got Drake May. They did all their things. They fired Gerard Mayo. Then all of a sudden they go, well, what worked really well before? Josh McDaniels' offense. Who would be a great head coach to have run this organization? Old Patriot Mike Vrabel. I'm just saying, like, was it Bill? Was it Brady? Or has it been the Crafts all along and we're all over here fleecing, man? Like, I don't know. I think it's the Crafts. I think you look at Brady won a Super Bowl after he left, but he also took Gronk with him, the greatest tight end to ever play football, went and joined an organization that had, stud receivers already and a stout defense, and he won a Super Bowl for it. Good on him. Like, I'm not taking that away from him. He's got 7 rings. Like, and Brady's incredible, and nobody approached the game the way Brady did. But I just tend to think that people are so quick to go Bill or Brady, when really the guys that really need to be thanked for this are the people who put them there. Because guess what? Dynasties don't usually happen twice, and I think we're on the cusp of being a competitive, very good team for the next 10 to 15 years.
100%.
How does that happen twice under the same ownership? It doesn't.
But sometimes it's not so much about what the owners do, but what they don't do. You know what I mean? One of the things that if you've ever read The Art of the Deal, one of the things that Trump says in the book is,
Is that book by Chester Cheeto?
yes,
Oh, okay.
it says, hire the right people and trust them.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the big things. If you're going to hire a coach, don't interfere. Let them kind of do what they're going to do.
You just said something that brought up a thought in my head, and I'm kind of curious your thought on this thought. So remember first term, the knock on Trump was, oh, he's fired his Secretary of State. He's firing this
Mhm.
person. He can't get along with anybody. Well, one, I kind of want a guy who wants to find the right people for the job
Mm-hmm.
that align with his policy. So I personally never had an issue with him firing people or moving
Sure.
on from different people. It was just not. It was not the customary presidential thing to do. And so because of that, you know what I mean? Like, I think
Mhm.
because of the amount he fired. But this term, guess what he hasn't done?
Fired anybody?
Makes you think that maybe he found the right people for the job this go
Sounds
round.
like it.
I'm just saying it's kind of interesting, right? Um, so you and I had some creative differences this week. We had some creative differences. We were trying to figure out a couple of things and some direction on and scope of what we wanted some things to be.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than put a bunch of emotion in it or anything else, we said what we thought. We went back to it a little later, talked about it again, and then we realized we kind of want the same thing. We're just saying it differently, you know?
Right.
And I made the comment to you, man, if all relationships could resolve conflict this way, it'd be amazing.
Well, it's one of those things. It's so similar to, like, the relationship at home, uh, government. The way, if you genuinely want to come to a solution on something,
Yeah.
you can. It's just, I think most people just want their way and don't actually want to come up with a solution to a problem.
Which is another reason why communism won't work. Sorry, man. Just had to put it out there.
Yeah.
Because
No,
people are
100%.
inherently dicks.
I disagree so hard. I think people are genuinely pretty good for the
Yes,
most part.
but you can't make the statement. You can't make the statement that communism won't work because people are inherently selfish and of who we are, and then think that they're inherently good. Not, I mean, they're not good enough to run it, but they're
So, but it's more nuanced than that, because I don't think
I know, I know.
because it only really, like, when you centralize that much power,
Yeah,
it only takes one bad actor to
yeah.
ruin it. That being said, uh, I do wanna, before we run out of time, I do wanna kinda hit on something here.
Well, hit
Uh,
on whatever you want to hit.
Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown. He is that dude.
Yeah. Now, if he was a voodoo doll, we would have beaten him to death by now. As much as we've talked about him lately,
I know, man, but it's just, you you
I,
you
I'm
wanna
gonna say
talk.
it. MVP
I think he's got good odds.
Jalen Brown.
Right now he's fourth behind Luca, SGA, and Cade Cunningham.
I don't think Luka's the MVP.
I don't think so either.
Luka missed 4 games and they went 3-1, and Austin Reeves ended up having 50 points twice. So I just listen, there isn't a guy on the Celtics that if Jaylen Brown goes down right now, not named Jason Tatum, that can carry the scoring load the way that he does with the consistency.
Well, and it's the narrative that,
Mhm.
your best player goes down, everybody just assumes that you're going to be, a playing team at best,
Maybe or tanking.
or tanking. And dude just shows up and balls out and does it on both ends of the floor.
Yeah,
Luca
that's
doesn't
the
play
other thing.
defense.
Luka doesn't play
He
defense.
doesn't play defense. Cade Cunningham's a good defender. He plays defense.
Cade Cunningham, I can certainly see being
But the
in the
construction
top.
of that team is better than Boston's.
It is,
Like,
absolutely. I mean,
and you
they're
said it.
riddled with vets. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got Thompson, they've got Ivy, they've got Duran. Then you've got Tobias Harris.
I was
so,
just gonna say Harris.
they've done a really good job of roster construction around Cade. But
Mhm.
listen, MVPs don't shoot 45 shots in one night and only make 5 of them, in my opinion. Jaylen Brown has some bad shooting splits, but which
But he doesn't hurt you on the
but they haven't
defensive end.
right, and they haven't been that bad this year. His shooting splits have been considerably upgraded this year. You know what I mean? Here's the thing: typically, when you see a guy's usage rise, you see his efficiency shrink.
Yes.
Hasn't happened.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with another thing I'm going to bring out. Another interesting party. Joe Mazzulla, and letting him play the way that he is going to be the most effective.
The way you keep bringing him up, I feel like I need to call Joe Mazzulla and see if we can fight publicly on something. You know what I mean? Like
He if you do, he will literally try and fight you.
I know it'd be incredible. I got my ass kicked by Joe Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla is just one of the wildest characters, man. Like some of the shit that comes out of that guy's
doesn't
mouth.
Joe Mazzulla remind you the way he talks and everything else? He reminds you of a sensei. Just kind of like a crazy sensei. But then he also reminds me of a drill sergeant, somebody who could lead a military platoon that's like, guys, we're going into war. And just so you know, the target's not on your back, it's between your eyes. So wear your helmet.
There's this video of Mazzulla, and he's sitting there. He sits down to talk to the press after in a post game, and he's just like, "Huh, they got you guys new chairs.
I saw that. You got arms on them.
Got arms on them. Guess anything for comfort, right? Anything for you guys." I'm like, what? So
awkward. Scal went to interview Joe, one of the first times he went to interview him as head coach, and he couldn't find him, and he's like, "Where's Joe?" And they're like, "He's in the back training room," and he walks in, and Joe's in a full gi, just going to town on karate moves and stuff, dude. And he said he broke this board. Scal said one time he did this roundhouse kick, and he broke this these group of boards that somebody was holding for him, and Scal goes, "Man, if you ever kick somebody in the face, holy sh," kind of thing. It's just a weird.
He's a weird dude.
Yeah, terrible X's and O's coach. Great motivator of men. Motivator of men. Terrible X's and O's coach.
You can't give the guy any flowers, man.
I just said he's a great motivator of men. He's great at mind manipulation. He's great at mind manipulation. I'm sorry, man. X's and O's, the post timeout stuff, is not great. And I'm sorry, but if he was a good X's and O's coach defensively last year, we wouldn't have fallen off. But you know what? We took the defensive X's and O's coach, and he became the Charlotte Hornets head basketball coach.
And as we both know, the Charlotte Hornets defense
fell off. And defense fell off. Now. I'm not saying he is, but what I'm saying is the defense took a hit. The defense last year was terrible, and it was trying to find identity without the defensive coach in Charles Lee. But, Sam Cassell, I think, runs the offense. I think he does a great job. I think Joe listen, I'm not saying Joe doesn't know basketball. That's not what I'm saying at all. I feel like Joe in a timeout's like, "Hey guys, we're going to inbound the ball." I don't know. Whoever inbounds it, just pass it to Jason. I mean, dude, they don't run any half-court sets. When is the last time you saw the Boston Celtics play offense and just run a completely motion-style offense that runs half-court sets, that allows for curl screens to position shooters like Sam Hauser?
They run all kinds of half-court sets. They do that.
Okay, hold on. The high pick and roll with Horford shooting or Porzingis shooting a weird three. That is not.
They'll do
an ISO is not a half court set.
I'm not saying that it is. So they'll do that. Although I haven't seen them do it a ton this year, but I think that's a personnel issue.
It's a personnel thing. I know.
Kata can't shoot threes, but they don't really do that. But they used to do that high double screen with both cutters dropping to the corner.
Cool. He's got 2 or 3 tricks in his bag.
Okay, I give up. I've never.
No, I mean,
I get
think about it, man. Like, think about the coaches you see around the league. You don't see the same thing every time. With the Celtics,
Mhm.
predictably, when Tatum's on the court, you we've seen three things: ISO, high screen back to a big to shoot a three, or an off-ball cut, and that's about it. We don't really post timeout. When's the last time you saw a player ran post timeout?
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I think that Joe is the best.
I'm not saying he's the worst. I'm just saying he lacks there, and he can grow into it. I mean, he's what 30, like 37, 38. I
Something
think he
like
can
that. Yep.
certainly learn the X's and O's side. And I got to be honest with you, having a guy like Brad Stevens in the as your boss kind of helps you learn the X's and O's. I think spending some time with him. What he
Somewhere.
does need to he does need to learn. Yeah, somewhere my head's on some freaking punching doll, and
I
he's
was
like,
just
I
gonna,
hate this guy, and he's
so
kicking me in the face.
somewhere Joe Mazzulla is attempting to buy a pack of wolves to guard his property. It's just so weird.
You know,
Uh,
you know who I could see Joe Mazzulla being really good friends with in the off season and like hanging out, and I'll tell you
hmm.
why. Aaron Rodgers, because they both are guys that just seem like they want to get in a tent in the middle of the desert and go on an ayahuasca trip.
I know Jesus doesn't want Joe to.
No, Jesus might not want, but I think that Joe might like he wants to get in touch with his inner Zen and Chi and whatever the heck you
I
want to
just
call it.
I love Joe. What did you think about playing for the in front of the royal family? I only know one royal family:
I only kneel for one person.
Mary, Jesus, and Joseph. And I'm just like, what? What?
Dude,
Uh,
all right. So I'm gonna take a stand on something, a couple
okay.
things, and I want to see what your thoughts are, and I want to see
You
what other people think. You ready for this?
you take that stand. You hot piece of ass. You.
Diet Coke is not better than Diet Pepsi.
Okay.
Okay, and in fact, I would say that the best soda is not Pepsi or Coke. I would say it is Dr. Pepper.
Bold. Bold.
I also would like to take a stand, and I think you will understand this. Lobster rolls. Mason's Lobster Roll Company just opened recently in my area. Went in there, and as a critic of lobster
Oh
rolls, I didn't know if you
no!
guys
Is
knew
it?
this. I am a world-renowned critic of lobster roll, all things lobster roll.
It was a warm butter
It
lobster
was
roll, wasn't it?
incredible, but they served two options. They served the Connecticut roll, and they served the Maine roll. Okay,
Uh-huh.
warm lobster belongs in butter on a plate. It does not belong on a bun. I am sorry, Connecticut, you it up.
Well, first of all, Connecticut's not even really part of New England. That's
No,
that's
they
ju-
like New York.
they're
They're New
ju-
Yorkers, dude.
that's just Eastern New York. That's
I
not.
got a buddy of mine I work with who handles the state of Connecticut for us, and he's diehard Jets and UConn, and everything's just the Jets, the Jets, the Jets. And I got to give it to him, man. He pushes the Jets no matter how bad they are. But I'm just like, if I lived in Connecticut and I had an option between New York or Boston teams,
Big Boston every time.
all day long, and it wouldn't even be because of the winning. It'd be because they're just better. Like it's just a better. They're
It's
all
just
just
the
ran better.
worst
Like
part of New England.
James Dolan, worst owner. Like I'm sorry, the Knicks could be better.
I
And
just don't. I don't. How do you have a team in New York, in the mecca of basketball? You got a team in the mecca of basketball. You got Madison Square Garden. You got the Big Apple, and yet you can't even sniff a championship. Can't even get a whiff of it.
well, I'll tell you this, and here's my
Blows my
hot
mind.
take on the Knicks. Here's my hot take on the Knicks. They will never win a championship if Jalen Brunson is the focus of their team, the primary focus of their team. Won't happen. Like Jalen Brunson, it's not a knock on him. His play style's fun. He's cool to watch. Like he does a lot of really good things. But I'd say the same thing about Donovan Mitchell. Won't win. Their games do not translate to winning. There needs to be another star on both teams.
Speaking of games that don't translate to winning, Trae Young
Holy cow, dude. Oh my word.
traded for a box of Cracker Jacks, 3
Well,
paper clips, and a Red
Poor
Bull.
CJ McCollum, man. Nobody wants that guy. Like, I think he should just retire at this point. Like, he's got to realize, like, nobody wants him, and he's a great like third option on like the Wolves or something. But what's he gonna do for Atlanta? You know what I mean? That's the first thing. Second thing is when it comes to Trae Young, it's interesting to me. If you're a quote unquote star in the NBA, you're in the upper echelon of scoring, you upper echelon of assists, you do all these things that they say Trae Young is. I personally don't think he's a star in the NBA. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player. I don't think he's a great player. I think there's too many holes in the dude's game to, that you have to hide on a complete team in order for him to be successful. Okay. But of all places, if you're looking to leave Atlanta, the one place that you think of is, I want to go to Washington Wizards. Like, and I want you to get me there. You know what that tells me? He wants to be the best team. He wants to be the best player on a bad team because it elevates his style. That dude does not even care that he's not winning.
Doesn't care if he loses. Just want numbers.
So for me, like, good on you, Wizards. Terrible pickup.
I mean,
and honestly, I kind of think Atlanta won that deal. You say a box of Cracker Jacks, but here's the deal: Trae Young, yeah, he's gonna sell the same amount of tickets that were already being sold. People aren't interested in Washington Wizards basketball because they suck. And then on top of that, you brought a guy in who doesn't have a winning mentality. His mentality is to score and try to be a dollar store bargain bin version of Steph Curry. Like
he's the Wish version of Steph Curry.
I like Steph Curry Make-A-Wish edition. We should do a bobblehead of him. Yeah, but why
you
would
ordered Steph Curry off Temu and you got Trae Young?
But why would an organization, just hear me on this, why would an organization that's destined for a top pick in this draft, and this draft is looking pretty deep, okay, why would an organization that hasn't won, that's looking to get back to the forefront, go out and get a guy who doesn't win and doesn't want to win? And obviously, if he wants to come to Washington, is okay with losing.
Yeah, and I think it's just because they didn't really have to put anything into it to get him. When you think about it,
Corey Kispert's been pretty good for them, man. Like, he was a bright spot for their future. I mean, I'm not saying he's great, but I mean, he's something you kind of use as a role piece from the team. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
Maybe they're hoping they pull like a Grizzlies, like back when it was Vancouver, and they their way into being halfway decent for a season.
Dude, they've been bad for more than a season. They've been bad for a long time. The Wizards are terrible.
Who knows? Maybe they accidentally luck their way into making the playoffs.
Here's a question for you based on this. So you know my opinion on this. I'm going to say it again. Ownership in sports. They have a responsibility to win. They have a responsibility to make the playoffs. They have a responsibility to the fans, to the league, because of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
They have winning generates revenue, right? We can agree with that. Winning generates revenue. We can agree with that. Okay.
Of course.
So I think that teams, if you were fortunate enough to own an NBA team, you're one of how many owners? 30. Okay. You're one of 30 owners.
Well, it's all half of them are ownership groups now, but whatever.
But my point is you have a fiduciary responsibility to deliver the playoffs, to increase revenue for your team. If you don't do that once in 10 years, I actually think that you should have to be on probation. And if you don't make the playoffs in the next 3 seasons after that 10 years, your team then goes up for sale. Yeah. I am a huge, I'm sorry, man. I mean, the lack of investment for some of these teams blows my mind. Like, you look at some of these like teams that are just coasting along, like football, the Cowboys. Yeah, okay. Cowboys haven't been to the Super Bowl in 30 years, man. And
has it really been that long?
Yes, and they've had a lot of really good teams since, but they've never had those teams that get you over the hump. And
there's a difference between just not making it to the Super Bowl and being bad. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, better example. Better example. The Jets.
Yeah. I don't feel like the Jets is for a lack of trying. Like, I think they really are giving it their best effort.
I do too. That's the unfortunate thing. Their best effort looks like Rudy. No, but no, but do you know what I mean though? Like, if I am Roger Goodell, if I am all of a sudden I'm drawing in a blank. I'm going to say David Stern, Adam Silverman.
Adam
If
Silver.
I'm Adam Silver, right, and
Hmm.
I'm sitting there and I'm going through and I'm looking, I just think like yes, they don't own the teams, but they are kind of the boss of the league. And as the boss of something, you want a return on that, especially if there's TV deals that come off it, if there's things and revenue money. I just think that like you should have a responsibility, like the Browns, the Cleveland Browns. Okay, like perfect example. That owner's awful. He's had 5 first-round picks. The Browns have had 5 first-round picks in the last 12 years, like top 3 picks. Okay, and they're still cellar dwellers every year. At some point, the NFL has to go, you are not living up to your end of the ownership deal where you are going to deliver a winning product that puts asses in the seats, that helps us get better TV deals to help increase the revenue stream of the NFL.
Do you think that there's, I don't know, as you're rattling off teams, you say the Cleveland Browns, who are perpetually terrible. And I think about the Cavs. The Cavs managed to LeBron their way into one championship.
Yeah.
Is it a city thing? Is there what, but hear me out. What is it about Boston that you end up as a city, as a market with the Red Sox, who have won, although they had
They
a
also lost
monumental,
for 84 years.
well,
So
yeah,
86 years.
but were they over the course of that 86 years, were they a bad team? Were they just never making the playoffs, never making the what, ALCS, NLCS,
You got
ALCS?
it.
Yeah.
You got it.
I don't baseball
You just
stick.
baseballed those, so stop.
Yeah, but
Say it confidently, and if you say NLCS, then I'll just correct you later in some blooper reel where it's like Sterling up baseball again.
okay, hold on. Let me try it again. So you got the Red Sox. It's not like they were bad. They made the ALCS, right?
Yep.
So,
You got it.
and
I see what you're
the
saying on the
Bruins have
city
won.
thing.
The
Yeah.
Bruins have won. The
But I also
Celtics
think
and the Celtics and the Pats win all the time.
a rising tide lifts all ships. I'll quote a famous guy there
Yeah, you
on
think
the
that?
other end. Yeah. And so I think what happens is this, because Philadelphia, perfect example. Boston, perfect example. One team wins, and then all of a sudden the other teams don't want to be the redheaded stepchild in the room, so to speak. And so they elevate everything around them. So I think winning breeds other winning. Like, I know that sounds crazy. Like,
No, but that actually really makes sense.
I feel like, and in Boston and in like places like Philadelphia where we really give a shit about our sports teams, like really care, like, I think there's an expectation of delivery. And, so you think about it. When did the Red Sox win their World Series? Think about the timing of when the Red Sox won their World Series. Who had just won their first Super Bowl? Who had just won their second Super Bowl?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a buzz around the city of championships at that point because
Everybody
Tom
wants that
Brady's
duck boat
winning.
ride.
Right. Everybody wants that duck boat ride. And so I think that, like, again, a rising tide lifts all ships. I think that when the Celtics in the 80s were kind of in their heyday and like fighting and winning championships, great. Cool. Guess who played in the World Series when the Celtics played in the NBA Finals? Boston Red Sox. Bill Buckner let the ball go through his legs, and we lost the World Series. But regardless, I'm just saying, I just think it's contagious. And I think other owners, like these billionaires that own these teams, are like, they just won, we're going to win. And I think they go hard after winning. And I think it changes mindset. I think if you look at cities that don't win, and like, perfect example, Dallas.
I mean, they won a championship.
They did. I'm not saying, but I'm saying, but it's been very few. Let me ask you this: if the Cowboys were a perennial Super Bowl like contender, do you think the Mavericks would feel a little pressure to be better?
I mean, sure. I think that's. I think
If Mark
I do
Cuban
agree
was
with
the
you about
owner,
that.
if Mark Cuban was the owner of the Mavericks still, and Dallas was winning Super Bowls, won 3 Super Bowls in a 7-year period, do you think Mark Cuban would accept not winning at least one championship or 2 in that same time frame?
No,
No.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that I think as a geographic area, New England, Boston, very used to winning. And I think that breeds like real care and for the teams. And here's the other thing. If you live in LA and you win an NBA title, right? And you continue to live in LA afterwards, they'll be like, "Oh, look, it's Magic. Hey, Magic, what's up? What's up, Magic?" You know, if you
David
win
Ortiz in Boston.
if you win a title in Boston, you are royalty.
You are
You
legendary.
are a legend. You will be loved for the. You'll never pay for another meal. You'll never,
But you know what's interesting about Boston?
Hmm.
I want you to think about this. We are not a free agent destination. Players don't try to come to Boston for free agency. It's not a thing they want because it's cold. It's all these other things, We
I mean,
do
you think
sign
about
people.
if it wasn't for Brad Stevens having coached, oh no,
Gordon.
Gordon Hayward. If it wasn't for
He
Brad
wouldn't have come
Stevens,
there.
he wouldn't have come there.
He would
And
have
if
gone
it
to
wasn't
Miami.
and if it wasn't for Gordon Hayward, Kyrie never would have agreed to the trade, even though that guy. You want
Whatever.
to talk up? You
But
know
my
who would
point
have
is,
loved playing for Joe Mazzulla? Kyrie
Okay.
Irving. They would have just sat in the back, and Kyrie would have told him how the Earth's flat, and Joe would be like, "I can prove it because there's wolves everywhere," and that's they'd have aligned their chakras and.
But seriously, I mean, think about it, man. Like, Boston's not a free agent destination usually. We build through draft, we build
Right.
through trades.
Yep.
And usually they're not like they're not like massively big trades. The Patriots this year, they spent a lot of money. That's how they got people there, honestly. But even when you look at the players we got, and I'm not trying to belittle them, they're great. But it wasn't that upper class of the NFL. It wasn't like, let me go get Myles Garrett. It was, let me get Hank Landry, which Hank Landry's an incredible player. That's not a knock on him, but he wasn't like that game-changing, like, superstar that was like a once in a generation talent. You know what I mean? But we went and got him, and we threw money at him to get him there. All I'm saying is we are not a free agent destination, and we still find a way to be the city of champions. So why are other cities having such terrible issues? Is it because you look at the Phillies? The Phillies, they sign every Tom, Dick, and Harry they can. They did win a World Series, but they go after everybody, throw money at them in baseball. They don't win. 76ers don't win. Eagles, they win, but guess what? They won because of all the players that they had on their team were draft picks. Now, this year, the year that they might not win, Milton Williams is with the Patriots. Like, I'm saying, like, they're not free. Like, we are not a free agent destination, but yet we continually find a way to produce product.
Well, and like I say, I think it's sometimes it's like excellence breeds excellence. If you know that the place that you're in is a city of champions, it's the place where,
Winning's the culture and the
where winning is
expectation.
the culture, and the expectation is not to do well. Like nobody gives a shit that you made the playoffs. Nobody
Cool.
gives a shit that you.
That's why it doesn't matter that New England's in the playoffs. No,
all
it's
that
Super
matters
Bowl or
is that
bust, baby. With everything we've done,
that you win a championship. That's
Yep.
all that matters.
All we want in Boston, I'm just going to say this, and it's the most important thing as a Boston fan for everybody when this happens. All we want is that damn duck boat ride. All we want is that duck boat parade. It is the coolest thing on earth. I think it's so cool. Have you ever seen that little kid that, like, he's been to like 15 duck boat championships in his life, parades in Boston, and he's like 25. He's like 21 now, but like as a kid, he was holding a sign. He's like, "This is my 7th championship parade," and I'm like, "Oh, that's why they hate us." That's why they hate us.
It's so funny because it doesn't really matter. Like you think about how good Boston was leading up to their the Celtics were leading up to their 18th NBA championship.
Yeah,
just saying, 18. You think about
which
how
is
good
one
they
more
were.
than is that one more than the Lakers?
I believe it is one more
Huh.
Huh. Weird.
Hey, has
Anyways,
Jason? How many? So Jason
uh-oh.
Tatum's already
I
played.
feel like there is something coming that is just
Jason
so
Tatum's already
outrageous.
already played in it in the. Never mind. Never mind. I'm gonna be good. Okay. So
God.
LeBron's won how many
He's
championships?
got 4 championships, Jordan.
How many championships has Jason Tatum played in?
2.
Okay, and he's 50% in them. What's LeBron's record in his championships?
9 and 4.
No, other way around.
4 and 9. You know what I mean? You know what
No,
I meant.
no, don't ever put LeBron in the win column. What is wrong with you, man? All I'm saying is how can your GOAT be the GOAT if a 27-year-old kid has just the same winning percentage?
Anybody who thinks LeBron is a GOAT has just grown up watching LeBron. Like, and I don't even know if you can't even call
But while you
LeBron.
watch him, is he really like, dude? There's nothing I like about it. Like watching him, he bores me. There's nothing fancy or flashy about it. Yeah, the only thing he does in his little dunk, that get out of here. Played
Here's the
out,
thing.
retire. LeBron, I would love it if here's my pitch for you to retire this year. Please, please, please retire. You know why? You're chasing something that no one's ever going to give you. You're not the GOAT. It's kind of pathetic. It's played out. Let it go.
Here's the thing.
MJ's your daddy. Kobe's your stepdaddy. Get over it.
You
Move
can't
on.
even really, realistically, you can't even really call LeBron the best player of his generation because, like, frankly, I think Curry's better.
Well, Curry leads to more winning.
Yeah. Like, listen, LeBron's been there.
I really got nothing to
times.
say other than that.
But he's played out of the East for basically his entire career, right? Which is
well,
a
why
weaker
do we not
conference.
KD? Why do we not KD and Harden for their passports, but not LeBron?
That's a
LeBron's
good question.
passport's pretty bad too. You know what I mean? He might not have played many teams. He's uncoachable. He wears people out, and when he does, he leaves.
Yep. He's like a swarm of locusts. He just destroys everything and moves on to the next spot.
You know what's weird? Here's a question for you. So
Hmm.
you know how we were just saying Boston's not a free agent destination? Why is California?
It's warm, sunny, and they're celebrities.
But you're also giving up 20% of your salary.
Well, I was just gonna say, let's be honest.
You're losing way more money in California than you are in Mass.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
California's got one of the highest jock rates in the country.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Massachusetts is pretty bad too.
I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm just saying California's grossly worse. And the cost of living's a lot higher.
Okay. I mean, it is significantly higher. It's 13.3% in California and 9% in Massachusetts.
Exactly. And when you're talking millions of dollars plus the jock tax, and
that's a chunk of change.
So
but then again, it's sunny. There's celebrities. There's beautiful women.
I hear you, but like why?
I get it.
Why would you want to give up all your money? Like if I was in the NBA or if I was a professional athlete, there's only one state I want to play in, two, really.
Florida and Texas.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I get that. But yeah.
Well, dude, this one went an hour and 15 minutes.
It's okay.
We went a little over.
Right.
You cut a few things out. It'll shut it. It'll slim up. You're really blurry on my screen, so it's kind of throwing me off. Like you just kind of faded and then came back. Oh, you're back! Yay! Whoa, a little too close up. No, I'm joking. But no, this is fun, man. Good times.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I hope that next week we're not talking about how America invaded Greenland, but who knows? We might be. Wouldn't it be easier to just take Canada?
I think the plan is to buy it. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like they want to.
Wouldn't it be easier just take Canada if we're going to take somebody?
Well, I think there's only 50,000 people that live in Greenland.
Yeah, we're offering them like $100,000 each to become American. I'm like, dude, can I go establish residency in Greenland and live in a shack for a week and then Trump give me $100,000? I mean,
I guess so.
No, it makes sense to me though. But so hopefully this time next week we're not talking about an invasion and that things have tempered. I do hope that by this time next week we are also celebrating a New England Patriots playoff win over the Chargers. I hate football. I have to wait the one thing I hate about playoff football is that, there's 5 games this weekend, and ours is dead last on Sunday night at 8. So I gotta go through all 4
Oh,
other
fun,
games.
yeah.
Yeah. So the anticipation's gonna kill me. Just always does. But yeah, no, thanks for hanging with us. We're really glad that you guys have stuck in there with us, like the content. Keep subscribing, keep following, keep liking, keep sharing, keep putting us out there, keep interacting with us. We're not going away. We're gonna be here. We're in it for the long haul. And remember, stay a dude.
I'm the king of my driveway, mowing lines so straight. Got a toolbox full of glory, and a mortgage by the plate. I'm a modern man with an old school